to be sure that you are going to drive this, those interests. So this is what I would try to extract.
Okay, we can finish. Would you like to say anything to them, or any question, any answer, any sentence for today?
No, I think for me, more last words, maybe taking with is more in my thinking is that, you know, we're in this exponential growth perspective. How can you use AI as a tool? I would say if you are afraid of it, I think then you need to really readapt, because then you're afraid of changing structures. I would ask and acknowledge, you know, many of the teachers say, let all students use all the tools they can have. And then how do you change your learning perspective to actually acknowledging that? I think for me, because we're not going to put the tool back. It's like, you know, when I grew up, you couldn't use the calculator in math classes, and today you're just doing more difficult problems but you still need to understand the fundamenta of the physics and the philosophy and being that tutor and guider, but also embracing that AI and taking it from memorizing things, which is going to be totally irrelevant, to actually understanding how you prompt to get the most relevant dialogue going with the computer and other computers. That would be my maybe acknowledgement. And if you in Turkey can have the perspective of actually embracing and jumping in the deep end, as you would say in the US of the pool, then I think you're in a very, very, very good state of actually rethinking the educational system very, very fast. But yeah, maybe very provocative of thinking, but that would be my summary of what my beliefs are, being very tech-oriented maybe.
I think that the main mistake would be to ignore the tools. I mean, and there have been some schools, you know, I know a big name school somewhere, you know, in the world, who at one point did forbid the use of those tools. They said, well, no, we're not going to use AI. Forbidden. This is stupid. This is the most stupid thing, you know, to do. So you need to leave, you know, the kids playing with the tools if they want to. You need to do the exercise that I was talking about before, just to show that the tools sometimes, you know, are wrong. You need to tell them how much they are wrong, you know. They need to find out by themselves also, you know, that they can be wrong. And as we said also, they are going to be better and better, so there would be less and less wrong. But you cannot forbid it, and you cannot ignore it. Mm-hmm. So it means that you need to be sure that if they start to use those tools, you, as a teacher, need also, you know, you need to bring the tool together with your way to educate. So, because you need to be sure that they are going to use them correctly, but it means that you need to know yourself, yes, you know, how they're working. The good news about those tools, and we talked about prompting a lot, you know, the good news about those tools is that they are pretty easy to use thanks to the prompt, right? So it means that basically the user interface is no user interface. It's the way you talk. So that's the good news about it. But still, the way they are going to give you the answers and the different tools that exist, when you compare, you know, Gemini from Google, ChatGPT from OpenAI, or Grok from XAI, I mean, when you compare, you know, those tools that are all, you know, from the West Coast of the States, as we said before, they are, you know, they have different philosophy, let's say, right? So you need also to learn that, and you need to teach that. So you need to make people understand that those tools, they are not equal. Mm-hmm. Okay? They are going to have, sometimes, to have an agenda. And it happens, right?
Yeah, I can even take it one step further, because if you are, as a teacher, believe that you can educate your kids to a perspective of not using these tools, I would say any kid that is using these tools will be more relevant. So if you start with that perspective, then, because you are not going to be relevant in the next 15 years if you cannot interact with these tools. So I would just embrace it and actually get all your students to work with this as much as possible. Because without working with the tools, you're not going to be as relevant, because I don't think there's anyone in any profession that is not going to be touched by this new technology. And if you're then familiar with it, you understand it, you've handed in all your papers with it, it's maybe not 2 pages, it's maybe 10 pages, and also what did the different philosophies between the different French writers, and how did they think differently, and how did that inspire the rest?
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of communication, understanding of putting the tools up against each other and starting to recognize patterns, then I think it's much more interesting than just, you know, remembering everything about Hugo and just, you know, writing it down and then forgetting it. So
this is the way you investigate, basically, because you are going to have, you know, those different philosophies, as we said, and you are going to be able to make your own, you know, decision about what is right and wrong. So it doesn't matter. But the thing is that since you have different opinions, this is exactly what happened with the books, you know, 500 years ago. This is the same thing. You are going to have different opinions, and you need to basically, you know, have all of them in order to make your own. And this is what is interesting with those tools. They are going to be more and more there. They are going to be present, as you just said, you know, in every single profession. They are going to be there. So don't ignore them. But don't forget to learn the profession as well.
Thank you so much for coming and being with us today. Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
We thank Mr. Luc Julia and Mr. Jonas Kjellberg for their visionary insights and inspiring contributions on technology and human interaction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will take a short break. At 3, we will reconvene to discuss how to build secure learning environments in the digital age. See you soon.